late. In fact, the speaker is late. You know, I put him into a buffer because I know that I'm late. He just finished judging a data competition in IDA.
Okay.
I rushed to the back.
Yeah.
So it's too late, too bad. Okay, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share a bit upon really what you're later than I am. I will share a little bit on, I think, the type of capitals that that an entrepreneur actually must gather, right, in the entrepreneurial journey as you go along. And I first actually researched on this topic a couple of years back when I was asked to speak at a graduation ceremony, right, in one of the schools in SIM. And basically, what it is that, you know, I look back on what are the different key success factor, right, for an individual as they graduate, right, into different actually activities, whether you're an entrepreneur or you are a career person, right? And I realized that, you know, TecHour actually define types of capital in a very interesting way. There are actually about 7 or 8 types of capital that he defines, but I would only restrict due to simplicity, and I collapse some of them together to 4 types of capital, right? So I'm going to talk a bit about each type of capital, but I'm going to spend more time in one capital, which is close to my heart, right? Which is social capital, right? So the first type of capital is actually financial capital. Okay, the 4 types are financial, social, cultural, and spiritual, right? Actually, Odin actually had a few other types. I can't remember what it is. I actually sort of collapsed it into this 4. Financial capital is the easiest to actually understand, right? Basically, how much money you get out of the job that you're doing, and along the way, we actually stockpile or gain financial capital as we go along. I mean, that's easy to explain. And the best part of financial capital is that in the IT industry, we are one of the better paying industry actually, right? And therefore, it is actually a very interesting way of actually stockpiling our financial capital. The second capital is actually what I deem as cultural capital. Cultural capital is something which a lot of us put aside, and that actually includes education, the arts, the understanding of different cultures, and so on, right? In China, they call it guanxi, you know, but actually it is beyond guanxi, right? What we are collecting sometimes in sessions like this are actually cultural capital, right? We actually look at what other people do, right, and what other people could actually influence us, and how we could actually influence other people, right? That's the second type of capital. Third type of capital is actually spiritual capital. Now, spiritual capital, I'm not here to preach to convert you into Christian, Muslim, or you know, or the latest thing, which they call humanism, right? Another word, atheism, right? I look at spiritual in the overall perspective as actually dropping the plumb line, right? Meaning that the ways that you are building your career, your entrepreneurial career or your corporate career, right? Is it straight, right? Is it moral, right? And that's what I mean by spiritual. I mean, sometimes you go towards religion to find out, you know, the standards or the moral standards of each of the different religions, right? But regardless, even if you are not a religious person, right, the spiritual side actually sort of put yourself to better mankind, right? So that capital has to be collected. The last capital that I have is actually social capital, and social capital is actually more than what you put in as individual, right, and what you derive out, right? It's actually more social in nature, right? And I sort of equate that to availing myself, right, to provide my services, right, for the good and betterment of a society. Society, in my sense here, is actually the IT industry, right? So most of you know me, right, in a very general manner. What I actually do now is that I actually put aside 30% of my time, my personal time, to actually look at two areas that I'm really passionate about. One is really promoting of tech entrepreneurism in our part of the world. Second is actually understanding and helping the manpower requirements of the IT industry in Singapore. Right? So those are my two major things I'm spending time on. And in the past probably 20 years, I've been involved with this organization called Singapore Computer Society. Right? So what Singapore Computer Society is quite interesting. It is, in Singapore there are 3 or 4 major IT associations or societies that you could join. One is SITF. SITF is the Singapore IT Federation, and this is actually an organization that represents vendors. So all the vendors actually join this organization. So if you are a vendor company like IBM or whatever, you join, and they actually represent the vendor in the IT industry. Right? The second one is ITMA, IT Management Association. These are the CIOs or senior managers of IT industry in Singapore, right? So these are the guys that look at, beyond grooming the top management, right, of the IT industry in Singapore. The third one is actually SCS, Singapore Computer Society. We don't call it Singapore Computer Society as a computer, it's a very old term, right? We just call it SCS, right? And SCS actually represents the individual, right, professional in Singapore. Some of you guys are SCS members, so this will sound like a broken record. But let me just tell you a little bit of what SCS is. SCS really wants to be, because of the amalgamation of IDA and MDA, right, we want to represent 2 types of people. But we have already decided to include this some time ago, right? It just so happened during our time. And what they want to do is actually to lead the way, add value, and be the voice of the IT industry. We have actually quite a large number of people in the society, 31,000 members, right? We actually came up with a couple of things. The core constituent group of the society is actually SIGs, special interest groups, and chapters. This is a special interest group. A special interest group is for tech entrepreneurs, right? So I'm actually the chairman of the Tech Entrepreneur SIG, and part of that, I actually wanted to create this forum, right? There will be other forums coming up, right? Because and this is actually in conjunction with the society. Society is celebrating next year as a 50th year in existence, so it's not a young society. And they wanted to actually have a drone competition, right? So we may participate together with that and see any of our startups, right, can actually supply drones or something like that, to the competition. Okay. We actually started this company called the Best Tech Company to Work For Award, right? This is every 2 years. So this year, IDA will run together with SITF the National Infocom Award, Best Infocom for Use, Best Infocom Product, right, for the 2 years, right? Then next year, our turn will come. We'll work with IDA or IMDA to look at the best tech company to work for, right? And the whole idea is actually to highlight the development of staff, right? That means this competition will actually go down and not only interview the HR or CEO, we actually talk to staff as well, right? So basically the whole idea is to promote development of talent in Singapore, right, with this award. So it has 3 categories: startup, SMEs, MNCs. So because we know the size are different, right? So that's what we did. And we did the first award last year. Right? We actually run a number of activities that you can see. Tech Entrepreneur. It's not there yet. So we actually run quite a number of things. Two things was actually started last year, which is Tech Entrepreneur SIG, as well as augmented reality. Right, this actually SIG is very, very popular. Right, so they talk about all virtual reality and augmented reality. The rest you can read. We have a barrage of honorary advisory council. Usually have 4, but because this year WBA is split into 2, IDA is split into 3, right? So we have to add everybody in to the council, and this will probably stabilize next year, right? The current president is actually Harvey Lau, who is from Startup. The VPs are Yuxin, Vitek, and Chien. Right? This actually form the key executive committee, and the rest of the people include a bit about the poly, the what do you call that, the academic, right? The people, right? And startup. Chiwa's company actually won the best tech company for startup last year, right? It's a startup company, and they actually won the award. Interestingly, what happened was that we asked their staff why, right? They want to be in a startup, and even though they don't pay them very much, and the staff actually, came forward and spoke up for the company. We have big organizations as well as small organizations across, right? And these are the co-opted members, meaning that we are not voted in, but we have been co-opted by the Expo to help, right? So incidentally, I was the previous president of the society before Howie, right? Each of us are brought in for a different purpose, and each one of us are brought in to do a certain project for the society. More than 32 now. So 1,000 came from somewhere. Right? We have 21 student chapters, meaning that actually all the IT students in Singapore are actually a student member of the society. Right? Now, whether they know it or not is another question. Right? They do nowadays, but only a portion of them actually participate. We actually run 1.7 activities a week, right? Meaning that there is almost 2 activities a week. And I single-handedly up this number to 2 point something because we are running a weekly session, right? Because SES has never run weekly sessions before until, I say I'm running every week, right? And I think they are up to 2.5 or something like that, activity a week. And this is across all the whole entire SES, right? So every day you go there, there's something happening. 3 major points: professional development, connectivity, networking, and resources. All the chapters, right? These are some of the things that they do, right? And what we do is that we actually work with different organizations to fund some of this stuff. So I can go through the slide and I'll just show you, right, what are activities that they do, right? But I think one of the things that actually excites me is that the issue of quality of professionals in the IT industry, right? That's something very close to my heart. And what I suggest to the society to do actually is to have an accreditation path, such that people who want to be accredited as a certified IT personnel can do so, right? But for the rest of us, right, maybe we should just collect points as we go on our career. So for example, you come to a session like this, you gain 3 points, for example. Or you speak in a session like that, you get 5 points. So at the end of the day, each professional, there is points you can convert into badges, right? So you are a tech badge speaker, for example, or you are a tech badge, right? So we want to be able to then have better perspective from the industry, who we are. Because today, all we have is our resume, right? And we have to call everybody else to find out whether it's a resume true or not. Very often, I get resumes and Lino and Stitch, right? But actually only one C, right? Because you don't really know, and they put in all the good stuff, right? But they don't tell you how much they actually work on each of the stuff and at what level are they, right? Hopefully, with some certification, we are able to differentiate that. The flagship thing is actually the IT Leaders Award that we run, right? Yeah. And the other thing is Infopia, which is a database. And there are lots of activities that we run, and that's why we have 1.7 or 2.5 activities a month. Right? So it's just all the slides I went through, right? And does that give you a sort of a view on what Singapore Community Society is all about? But I think on the bigger picture, right, it's not about SCS that you'll be serving or whoever it would be, right? But really, the social capital part of it is actually quite important to ascertain and to gain as we walk through the entrepreneurial journey. This is coming to the third quarter of this year, right? I will try to extend this to end of this session to end of this year, right? To see whether how the pickup rate is, right? On the average, we get about 15 to 30 people attending. This month is a little bit bad because there are lots of actually events that's happening, right? That diverts everybody's attention. But what I will do, or endeavor to do, right, is to actually list out the next few speakers until the end of the year, right? Some will be blank, right, because I haven't got them yet, but I will put up somewhere, right, that you guys can access who are the speakers coming on board, right? I've spoken to quite a number of people, and they all are willing to actually contribute. Some from the funding side, right? Some from the society organization side, some from actually entrepreneurs who have started a company and then sold off, right? Some were existing entrepreneurs that wants to share what they do. So there will be a list, of topics that I will put up on the web, so you guys can pick and choose which one you guys come. Because now it's very much a lottery, right? If you're free to come, right? Who is speaking, right? So if in the future, if I could come up with a list, right? So roughly, I think, or at least the topic, right? Then at least you guys can see which are the topics that's being spoke of during this period. Any questions? Okay. If not, what I'll do is that I will hand the time, probably just a quick one to Lai Chuan. Lai Chuan spoke a couple of weeks back on data privacy, right? And I think he has something that he wants to share. Just 5-10 minutes, right? That he's actually doing, and perhaps I will give the time to it.
Sorry, Chak, before
yes. Yeah.
Can you, because I'm interested in what you mentioned about the different capital, and from your own personal perspective, how do you see the relationship between the different capitals?
Oh, the relationship is very simple. You just
for you personally,
okay, for
yeah,
me,
because for different people it's very different.
For me, right, and my advice, right, is to get as much as the form as possible from day one, right? If I have not actually served in the computer society when I was maybe 2-3 years in the industry, right, I would not have understand so much about the social side, right, that I have today. That's number one. Now, the students came up to me after the talk and say, "Oh, Chak, you're old already, you're there already, so you don't need money, so therefore financial capital is not important to you, right?" So for them, all they see is financial capital. They don't see anything else, right? So my point is that I think we really have to, if not have an equal share of the capital, right, at least start, right, in each of the capital, right? I feel that from my perspective, my balance is that, from my perspective, my balance is that it is quite acceptable to me and my family, meaning that financially, I'm not very rich, right, but I can support them, right, and we don't have to drive a Lamborghini, right, but I do drive a nice car, right. So my feeling is that there's a balance because the more money you make, right, the less you get from someone else, right? So people always ask me, I got a good friend who asked me when I first started, you remember this is mid-90s, they first started, he asked me, hey Chak, what is your goal of being an entrepreneur? So I thought about all kind of things. I said, no. How much money you want to make? That's all he wanted to know, right? So I told him, all I'm targeting is $5 million, right? In my total asset portfolio, $5 million. So not only cash, right? Then he looked at me and says, it's a bit low, isn't it? Right? $5 million, you can't buy anything, right? I mean, of course, that time was quite high, like in the mid-90s. But my point is this, you see, if I set my goal to be, let's say, 25 million, right? Okay, and most of us who are entrepreneurs anyway, are very objective-driven and target-driven, right? Because we are entrepreneurs, right? So if I set the goal as 25 million, I will run and hit the 25 million, right? And if I hit the 25 million, then you might realize that you forgot how your son grew up. You forgot where your family is, and so on, you see. So my point to him is that if I reach a target of 5, right, okay, I think I have better life, right, than just the financial paper, right? So therefore, I give up quite a lot of things. The other explanation during that time was also this, right? If you can make the first 5 million, right, the first 20 is not going to be a problem, right? It's the bloody first million that is your problem, right? How do you actually run? I always tell the entrepreneurs, right, that starting a business and running it and surviving is not an issue, right? If you work hard enough, you have money, right? You may have some cash flow problem, but you will have money, right? Your life will be okay, right? The issue is how to scale that business and make a lot more from that business. I think that's what we all want to learn in the sessions like this, right? Not about surviving, right? If you guys want to survive, better don't come, right? Go back to your office, meet more clients, and make more dinners, right? But the question is, how do we actually scale the business such that we can make not the first 5 million, but the 20, 30, 40, or whatever you target going on, right? So from my perspective, I'm happy where I am in terms of the capital that I've gained so far. Right? I've gained a bit of each, right? Some more than the other, right? But I think at least I've started, gaining more capital. A lot of my biggest concern about entrepreneurship really is that when I flip the newspaper, right? People say, start trading, you'll make a lot of money, right? Or start selling website, you make a lot of money. And the big part of it is always money. You see. My biggest concern is that that may not be as critical, right? If you are able to gain the other capital. So a very long answer for a very short question.
Actually, my question, sorry, maybe I didn't frame the question correctly. It's not about how should we try to achieve balance between the different capital. It's more how the different capital are essential to support your business financially or otherwise. So how does one interact with the other? So how does the blend make your company or your enterprise stronger? So that's sorry, maybe I didn't frame it.
Yeah, just a very quick one, right? Because of my spiritual capital that I've gained, right? I actually have received a lot of proposal to invest in gambling operations, right? And I decided that because of that, I will give up the goal, right? Because I have certain principles that I want to live on, right? So that's how one example of how to interact, right? The other interaction is that because of my social capital, right? People now invite me to sit on certain boards, which are paid, right? Because they know where I'm going towards, right? Although the pay is not a lot, right? It's for parking fees, but it is still something which, to me, quite significant, right? So that's another example of correlation between
very successful techno-cronies, right? Who believe in coming up with to disrupt the world, but not focusing on money, right? For example, Steve Jobs.
Sure. No, I fully
Money
agree.
came back, but at that time he was focusing on, whereas the one who kicked him out was focusing on TNR.
So he was focusing on the cultural capital,
Yeah.
you know, the design, you know, the education.
And then everything come
Yeah, everything comes to it. So
Every-
that's another example.
Every successful business leader never focus on
Just one thing.
financial.
Yeah.
Jack Ma said if you are running, if you are building a business, your goal shouldn't be money.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I also say, who's the other guy? Elon Musk is not. I mean, money is a byproduct. All the same.
So the story is about that it's actually has been quite well rounded rather than just one component of it. My biggest worry is that some people look at only one part of it,
Yeah.
right? So you do only cultural, right, or only social, you know, right, or only spiritual, right, and forget about everything else. And I have actually encountered people who are like that, like not the money bit, right, but the other bit, right? And my question is that, you know, how do you support your family, right? If you don't look at the whole priorities, you know, and then they tell me this thing called faith. Thank you very much.
Some things are beyond logic.
Something like that, like, yeah, absolutely right,
Yeah.
absolutely right. So I won't question that, right? So, right, I won't question that at all.
No right or wrong.
No right or wrong answer. No right or wrong
No
answer.
right or wrong.
But I think the idea is that for most mortal like us, we have to actually look at different type of capitals.
That's why we are mortal.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure about you, Lani.
I just said this is what we are.
Any other questions? If not, Laifan, do your pitch.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thanks very much.
Sorry, I'm just going to take 5 minutes of time. I thank Chak for giving me this opportunity to spend 5 minutes with you. The idea, okay, why I'm here is, I think 2 weeks ago, or even last week itself, previously, I was here sharing about this new startup that we have. Alright, started us in 2015 called Noggin. We're coming out with the launch end of the year, building up what we call a personal data marketplace. Right? And it's leading into this marketplace we are launching under here. Right? We have a few so-called activities, marketing, PR, stuff, and so on. And one of which is this survey that we're doing. All right? We have actually done a survey before, all right, when we started this business, all right, to see how people value privacy of their data and what it means as a value to them, individually as well as to business. Right? Now we are doing another survey just to validate that. All right. At the same time, we are also driving through a lot of different marketing needs, all right, to get people to sign up as early users on our website. So I just want to take this opportunity here, primarily to look forward to your help, your support, all right, to help us out. All right. Whatever the results that comes out of this, of course, will be posted on the website, right? And we will also, of course, once you put in the survey, your email, we will send that out to you to share with you what this means. This may be interesting for you to know, all right? I think, like, for some of you, you're passionate about entrepreneurship, money, spiritual, whatever. Right? My passion is about data, right? Primarily about personal data and privacy. Right? I care a lot about that because I see the world is going to be a lot more. We are going to be a lot more under surveillance, if I use the word, for good or bad. Okay, I think that's a very difficult thing to talk about here. All right, good or bad, but there will be a lot more surveillance. Right? I think I care enough about personal data to say that consumers like you and I, individuals like us, have to have a say. Right? That's what I care about. I'm not saying that being under surveillance is no good, right? or good or bad. Right? It's just that I think consumers like us having a voice, right? A voice, and not just from a privacy perspective, but also I think more from a monetization perspective. I mean, I think previously I shared. Today, all the big companies or every company is making data of you. Right? You are building this marketplace, for you to take your data that you have in your user accounts, wherever, in the internet and so on, right, and be able to exchange it for benefits and what we call cash credits as well, with businesses out there who have use for it from a marketing perspective, for product development, research, and so on and so forth. So it's just a means to help individuals advertise their data itself. Right? So this is what we're launching end of the year. Right? We're pretty excited, right? And we're hoping that we'll get support from people here, the folks here, and whoever comes to TecHour. I've been here a couple of times. We're ramping it up. Right? So this survey, by the way, doesn't take more than 2-3 minutes. It's only 6 questions, right? But I think it represents a good view. Right? Also, the last bit I want to say, if some of you are thinking about starting a business, right? Obviously, because I come from a personal data space marketplace, right? I'm biased, but I would urge you to think about doing your business from the angle. All right? For example, right, I'm not sure you heard of a startup in the US called Z.co. They try to I would say they are competing with Facebook. Not too badly. TSU.co. What's the difference? The difference is the data that you use, the social posts and all those things on Z.co belongs to you. Anybody who wants to advertise on your page, they pay you. That's their business model.
TSU.co.
TSU.co. That's what?
UK.
That's US, in New York. Right? There's a few, Data Wallet, Data Pool. There are a lot of companies that are starting up in this space, personal data. What I'm trying to drive at is that if you are thinking of a business idea, think about it from this perspective. Play it the other way around. Why? This is a fresh idea. Because if you try to write the brain to say, what's a new thing that Facebook isn't doing, Google isn't doing, Uber isn't doing, Grab is not doing, everyone else is not doing, I tell you, it's very difficult for you to think of something brand new. But it's about how you take existing idea, twist it for the better. Some other people use the word consumer empowerment. Right? That's another big word out there. Right? So I'll share this with you. I mean, I think that's something that you want to think about. Right?
So how do you price personal data?
We actually don't price it ourselves because it all depends on the demand. It means the businesses, like say a marketeer, right, or an ad developer who has need for the data, right? Personal data, maybe Fitbit, your Facebook posts, or things like this, or demographics of you. Right? They actually will put out what they think they are willing to give for this data itself.
But data I can always sell it to multiple people, right?
Yeah, you can, as an individual.
Right, but then how do you price it if I can sell it to multiple people?
I don't price it, as I said. You're asking how does Login make money, right? Login makes money.
No, if I am going to use Login, right, and I have my personal data, how do I price my data?
No, you don't price the data, that's what I say. The business, the demand is the one that says, for this data, all right, I'm going to use it for marketing purpose, for example, all right. I'll use it for, let's say, to target you with an offer. All right. I would then be the one that says, okay, for this data, I'm willing to give you this. The business. For example, PepsiCo. You give me this data, I'm willing to give you this. Be it in terms of cash, send it in kind, a cash or whatever. That's up to them to decide. And it's up to you to accept whether you think that it's worth your while. That's the principle of this whole thing itself. Because today, if we talk about pricing of personal data, all right, you as an individual, nobody has found a formula for that. All right. So if you think of it, it's not. So our model works on the fact that it's not about you pricing your data, but it's a demand, all right, who offers what the use of your data, what they can give you.
But I'm actually from Eastar, so I'm quite I'm from Eastar.
Oh, Eastar.
So I'm quite familiar with data privacy. That's one of my. I work in big data. So the problem with what you're saying is, if I can't price it right, and if I'm a business, right, I won't pay you anything because it's almost free.
Oh no.
Because how do you price it? I don't know how to price it.
They say it's almost free.
I'll give you 1 cent.
Share with you on this.
This is like you go to a restaurant and pay as much as you want, right?
That's the key difference here. Data in its raw value, in its raw form, is very negligible. Today out there you can buy from data brokers, Axiom, Experian, records, each 1,000 of record is maybe less than 1 cent or $1, less than that, depending on health, medical, or whatever. Right? That is raw data. What we do in Noggin, we actually do a marketplace based on the use of the data. So what we do is we actually help the individuals to package their data. Right? We provide them tools they can package such that a marketer could use it to profile and send very personalized offers, for example, to them. All right? So this is what they do. All right? They don't actually take the data. They actually use the data. All right? Say, hey, I'm looking for people of this age, high impact, exercise, who loves Japanese food, whatever. All right? And I target up there. All right? Whoever's data matches to that, you actually then get an offer. So that's what we're doing. That's all. Use of the data. We believe that the use of the data itself is where the value is. Right? Value not in terms of dollar and cents only, but also value in terms of what I can get. Because a personalized offer, an offer that is relevant to me, to the benefits I'm looking for. Not just selling of data. I think the selling of data, which I think you've seen in the US 5 to 8 years ago, companies doing that. Frankly, we studied not many of them. I don't know whether they are still around or not. Some of them are still like that. But we believe that the data is used. It's no different from big data today. Banks pay billions of dollars. Studies have shown nearly 90% of the data is unutilized. Right? They spend, some sales guy from EMC or whatever goes there and sell it. I used to sell that. Right? I make more commission. But there's no use.
Maybe we can catch up privately, but one way that I'm thinking of using Noggin and let's say our set of data, right, is that if, let's say, all our attendants are taken into consideration, not only tech entrepreneur, but all the different events, right, okay, then we could actually cut the middleman and go straight to the education providers and say, okay, I have a database of, let's say, 500 people. And out of 5 people, I know exactly what kind of conference they've attended, right? And if you would like to actually sell an entrepreneurial session to these guys, offer something to them. And then basically, without actually divulging the identity, like,
that's another way of utilization of data.
So therefore, instead of getting a 10% discount, right, because it cuts off all the middlemen, the company may give you 40% discount. Right? Because it's equivalent to what they make anyway, right? So that's one way of doing it. So maybe you guys can take.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah,
I think I think you gave a talk last time, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's not.
We can take this offline.
Yeah, we can take this offline. I'm interested.
This whole area of data privacy and data economy is quite interesting. So I try to also get more people to talk on this space. Thanks, Ajahn.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, so this just before I end, right? This session is actually for startups, right, and for tech entrepreneurs, right? For you guys who are actually at the back doing your own work, this session is free to you guys, okay? Right? And I buy pizza after this too. Pizza is here already. So Wednesday lunch is taken. The whole idea is really for me to expose as much ideas as possible to for the tech entrepreneurs, right, to get to the market, at least the people around the tech group, right? We have a database of about 200 people that attend this every now and then, right? And would love the opportunity if you guys say that, I want to test out something, and if you pitch to this group and says, can you guys help me on whatever it is, right? Then maybe we can do a blast for everybody and say, can you help do this, right? Because the whole idea is actually a self-help type of environment, right? That I'm trying to create for the startup community and for the tech entrepreneurism, right? And I'm actually getting more and more organizations to come and present so that they could also see how startup could actually approach them, right? Like for example, Lux spoke, and he's the big data guy and the security guy. So if you guys, any startup needs those information, if you can catch him, that'll be fantastic, right? All right, guys, thank you very much for coming, right? Pizza is here, so Guys in the back, please have yourself a pizza as well.
Chak,
Yes.
why not we put it up on Facebook or sending email? I think that will be a
Yeah.
way to share.
Okay.
Email,
Yeah.
a nice picture and all.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. I'll check it
Then
out.
it's easier for me to share with
Yeah.
my
Right.
friends and all, right?
Yep. I'll think out. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. The only thing is I don't think about Instagram because most of the younger generation are on Instagrammers. Yeah. Facebook. Yeah.
Because now, a lot of people, right, I can go in maybe, that's